Salve te discipuli. This is Help for Your Latin Studies in Henle First Year Latin, exercise 219. In this exercise, we will be translating English sentences to Latin, and we will be working with our new information about the ablative of means, which is when we would answer the question, by what was the action being done, without using the preposition by in Latin. We would simply give the ablative form of the noun to answer that question. So in English, let's start by parsing, figuring out our different parts of speech within the sentence, so it will help us more easily translate them into Latin. So first of all, who or what is the sentence about? Our subject is they, and it's a pronoun. And what is being said about they? They defended. That's our verb. Who or what did they defend? They defended the camp. It's our direct object. And how did they defend the camp? With darts. That's the means by which they were able to defend the camp. So we have this ablative of means phrase. Now in English, we would call this a preposition and an object of the preposition. And in Latin, we don't deal with articles a, an, or the, so we can simply ignore that for the purposes of this translation. Now let's consider how these words would be translated in Latin. Often when you have a subject pronoun and a verb like this, in Latin, it would just be one word. It would just go, the pronoun would be absorbed into the verb. And so we're going to kind of bracket those together and call it our verb, and we want to assign it person, number, and tense so that we give it the proper ending in Latin. So this is they, which is third person plural, and defended, that ed, that completed action, tells me that it's in the perfect tense. So it's different from imperfect, which also has past tense habits, I guess I'll say. It has this sense of it being in the past, but an ongoing action. We might say they were defending, past tense, ongoing action, if it were imperfect. But in this case, it's final. It's perfected. It's perfect. So we're going to assign that the perfect tense. Okay, third person plural, perfect tense. And it is the subject doing the action. So it is in the active voice. We don't have to worry about those passive voice endings. Okay, and then we have our direct object. So this noun in Latin would be the accusative case as the direct object. And it's an interesting noun. In Latin, the word for camp, kind of like the word for enemy, it sounds singular to us in English, but in the Roman mind, in the Latin speaker's mind, it was a collection. The camp is a collection of tents. The enemy is a collection of bad people. So this is actually plural. And it's only given it to us in the plural form, castra, castrorum. I don't know if you remember that from earlier. So we have an accusative plural, let's see, gender, number, case, castra, castrorum. That's neuter, a neuter noun. Okay, and then with darts. So here's our ablative of means. And our recent reading told us that we eliminate, in Latin, we eliminate the preposition. We will not use a or ab as we did with the ablative of agent. When we have an ablative of means or a non-living agent here, then we simply give the noun in its ablative form. So together, bracketing those together again, we're going to translate this word for darts, ablative. In the ablative case, it's plural. And it also happens to be a neuter noun. The vocabulary word we were given was tellum telli, which is a second declension neuter noun. Okay, so with that in mind, it looks like we have 3 words to translate. And we would typically put our verb last. So we'll start here with a word for camp, castra, castrorum. We want the accusative form, so thinking through the neuter endings in the plural column, a, orum, is, a. So simply going to do castra for our direct object. And then we want this word for darts in the ablative plural form. So thinking about the neuter noun endings, second declension neuter noun endings in the plural form, a, orum, is, a, is. So we would take our stem, tel, is, telis. And then finally, let's look at our verb. They defended. Our word for defend, I'm going to look it up real quick to make sure I have it right. I believe it's just defendo, defendere, but let me be sure. Here it is. It's a third conjugation verb. Defendo, defendere, defendi, defensus means to defend. So we need to look at our third conjugation verbs. And we want this to be, we'll start with defendi, right? Because we're going to use the perfect system to translate that in the perfect tense. So we would start with this third principal part, defendi. And think about the endings of the perfect tense. Here they are in the third conjugation. I isti it, imus istis erant. And we want that third person, where am I? Third person plural, errant, defenderant. Castra, telis, defenderant. The camp, by means of the darts, they defended. I hope this has been helpful to you. Have a great day.